Humanity would burn 100 Andorian worlds if the invaders didn't leave immediately. That's the grim ultimatum Commander Joseph Bailey relayed to the alien fleet in orbit over humanity's Kepler 186f colony. 20 years ago, your people made first contact at this remote outpost, Ambassador Horus said to his younger colleague Zephyr as their flagship cruised past the contested planet below. The humans warned us, withdraw from their territory, or see our civilization razed to ashes. Zephyr's eyes narrowed. Our military had 100 warships to their one tiny settlement. Bailey's threat should have been laughable. Why did we retreat? Because it wasn't a bluff. Right after the humans' proclamation, our entire armada suffered a catastrophic navigation failure. Every single vessel jumped to the wrong coordinates, stranding us in deep space light years off course. How? There's no way those primitives could hack our networks. Horus's mandibles clicked. The UTA had infiltrated the Confederacy for years. Spies, saboteurs, codebreakers. We underestimated their cunning ingenuity in pursuing covert cyber warfare. A costly mistake. He turned to the viewport, watching Kepler 186f's serene blue oceans. Mark my words, Zephyr. If we fail to contain this, if humanity slips the chains we've placed on them, a terrible vengeance shall befall our worlds. They will remember our invasion, and they will make us pay in blood and flame. Horus nodded grimly. After stranding our fleet, the humans knew we'd come crawling back to negotiate. They were ready for us. When Ambassador Kolath arrived on Kepler 186f to treat with Commander Bailey, the human presented a list of demands. To regain control of our ships and get the UTA to withdraw peacefully, we had to meet their terms. What did they want? Zephyr asked. Recognition of UTA sovereignty over Kepler 186f and a dozen neighboring star systems, transfer of our most advanced tech, the quantum computers, the FTL comms, all of it, and a century-long non-aggression pact barring us from taking any hostile actions against them. Zephyr's eyes widened. They demanded all that just to give our fleet back? Kolath told them to shove it, right? Initially, yes, but Bailey wouldn't budge. The negotiations dragged on for days, and in that time our economy started collapsing. Trade shut down, factories closed, riots broke out on a dozen worlds. We were powerless. So we just gave in, let the humans dictate terms. We had no leverage. It was comply or let our civilization crumble. Horus sighed. In the end, Kolath signed the deal. The UTA upheld their end. Our ships started responding again. But the cost... I still can't believe it. How could those hairless apes outmaneuver us so thoroughly? We're the ones who uplifted them. Don't underestimate humanity's cunning. Centuries of conflict on their homeworld bred strategic instincts we can't match. They turned our own arrogance against us. Horus fixed his colleague with a somber stare. The humans are playing a long game, Zephyr. They're masters of information warfare, manipulating data on a level we've never seen. This was just their opening move. Horus's eyes gleamed as he continued the tale. After their humiliation at Kepler 186f, the Andorians sought to regain their pride. They poured resources into a clandestine initiative, Project Prometheus, to unravel the enigmas of human ingenuity. Zephyr leaned forward. What did Prometheus entail? Teams of our finest minds, laboring to reverse engineer the technologies that allowed humanity's ascent. Faster-than-light propulsion, synthetic intelligence, advanced robotics. The Andorians dreamed of wielding this knowledge to challenge the UTA and reclaim what was lost. But the humans caught wind of this plot. Horus clicked his mandibles. Indeed, we underestimated their espionage network. Human agents had penetrated Prometheus from its inception, feeding our scientists false data, leading them astray for years. Zephyr furrowed his brow. How could they infiltrate so thoroughly? Our counterintelligence is second to none. So we believed, but humanity's AI algorithms are generations beyond ours. They analyzed our communication patterns, pinpointed security flaws, and exploited them to plant operatives deep within Prometheus. Horus shook his head. The UTA plays a masterly game of Dejarik, always thinking 10 moves ahead. They anticipated our desperation, our thirst for revenge, and turned it against us. "A most cunning adversary," Zephyr murmured. "Never doubt it. Humans are long-term strategists. A decade is but a blink to them. They'll spend lifetimes constructing a trap, waiting for the perfect moment to spring it." Horus leaned back, his eyes distant as he recalled the events of the Theta Cygni III summit. The Andorians thought they had the upper hand. They believed they could isolate the humans, paint them as aggressors, but they didn't count on Joseph Bailey. Zephyr tilted his head. "What did Bailey do?" "He worked the room like a maestro. Greeted every delegate by name, inquired about their families, their homeworlds. He had a gift for making people feel valued, respected." Horus chuckled. "I remember watching him charm the Keplerians. They're a notoriously prickly bunch, but Bailey had them eating out of his hand within minutes, cracking jokes, swapping stories. By the end of the night, they were all but ready to sign a defense pact with the UTA. "Impressive," Zephyr murmured. "But how did he counter the Andorians' accusations?" "With hard facts and a hefty dose of charisma. When the Andorians presented their evidence of human aggression, Bailey calmly picked it apart, pointing out the flaws in their logic, the gaps in their data. He then launched into a stirring speech about the UTA's commitment to peaceful coexistence and mutual prosperity." Horus shook his head in admiration. He had the entire assembly hanging on his every word. He spoke of the medical breakthroughs the humans had shared with the galactic community, the lives they'd saved. He described their vision for a unified communications network that would bring us all closer together. "And the delegates bought it?" Zephyr asked. Hook, line, and sinker. By the time Bailey finished, the Andorians' accusations sounded like petty jealousy. The other species were practically lining up to sign cooperation agreements with the UTA. Zephyr frowned. But how did Bailey know exactly what to say, what buttons to push? Preparation, my friend. Bailey and his team had done their homework. They'd studied every civilization represented at the summit, learned their histories, their values, their pressure points. They knew precisely how to tailor their message to resonate with each species. Horus leaned forward, his voice low. But it wasn't just about the right words. Bailey has a way of connecting with people on a personal level. He can make you feel like you're the only being in the room, like your concerns are his top priority. It's a rare gift. He used that gift to great effect at the summit. When the Andorians tried to corner him in private, to pressure him into concessions, Bailey turned the tables. He flattered them, acknowledged their grievances, made them feel heard. And then, ever so gently, he nudged them towards a compromise. Zephyr's eyes widened. He managed to win them over. Not entirely, but he planted the seeds of doubt, got them questioning their hardline stance. By the end of the summit, the Andorians were more open to dialogue, less eager for confrontation. As the conversation drew to a close, Horus's expression turned grave. "There's one more thing you should know, Zephyr. Something that could change everything." Zephyr leaned forward, his brow furrowed with concern. "What is it?" "Despite the humans' success in establishing themselves as a galactic power, there are whispers of a growing divide within the UTA itself." Horus paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. "A divide? What do you mean?" "Some factions, led by hardline military leaders, believe that the humans should take a more aggressive stance towards other civilizations. They want to use their technological and strategic advantages to establish dominance and control." Zephyr's eyes widened. "They would risk war, after everything they've achieved through diplomacy?" Horus nodded grimly. "These factions see diplomacy as weakness. They believe that the only way to ensure human survival is through strength and conquest." "And the other factions, what do they say?" "Diplomats like Joseph Bailey argue for a more measured approach. They believe in peaceful coexistence and mutual benefit. They see it as their responsibility to use their influence to promote stability and progress." Zephyr shook his head. If the hardliners gain control, it could be catastrophic, Horus finished. A war that could threaten the very existence of the Andorian Confederacy and other civilizations. What can we do to prevent this? Zephyr asked, his voice tight with worry. Horus sighed. The only hope is to continue working towards understanding and cooperation, to build bridges between our species and find common ground. It won't be easy, Zephyr murmured. No, it won't. There will be setbacks and challenges, but it's the only path forward. The two diplomats sat in silence, each lost in their own thoughts. Horus couldn't shake the sense of unease that settled over him like a heavy cloak. He knew that the humans were capable of great things, both good and bad. The fate of the galaxy might well rest in their hands. As he gazed out at the stars, Horus could only hope that the better angels of human nature would prevail, that the chilling warning they had given so many years ago, "Your worlds will burn," would never come to pass. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.